5 seconds. Start. You now have an idea of the difficult circumstances in which independent India was born. The serious challenge of nation building that confronted the country right in the beginning. It took various forms: nominal democracy, but effective control by one leader, one party rule, or direct army rule. Non-democratic regimes always started with a promise of restoring democracy very soon. But once they established themselves, it was very difficult to dislodge them. Initially, it was thought that this was only a matter of a few months. The Election Commission of India was set up in January 1950. Sukumar Sen became the first Chief Election Commissioner. The country's first general elections were expected sometime in 1950 itself. But the Election Commission discovered that it was not going to be easy to hold a free and fair election in the country of India's size. Holding an election required delimitation or drawing the boundaries of the electoral constituencies. At that time, there were 17 crore eligible voters who had to elect about 3200 MLAs and 498 members of Lok Sabha. Only 15% of these eligible voters were literate. Therefore, the Election Commission had to think of some special method of voting. The Election Commission trained over 3 lakh officers and polling staff to conduct the elections. It was not just the size of the country and the electorate that made this election unusual. The first general election was also the first big test of democracy in a poor and literate country. Till then, democracy had existed only in the prosperous countries, mainly in Europe and North America, where nearly everyone was literate. By that time, many countries in Europe had not given voting rights to all women. A British member of the Indian Civil Service claimed that a future and more enlightened age will view with astonishment the absurd farce of recording the votes of millions of illiterate people. The elections had to be postponed twice and finally held from October 1951 to February 1952. But this election is referred to as the 1952 election since most part of the country voted in January 1952. It took 6 months for the campaigning, polling and counting to be completed. The level of participation was encouraging. More than half the eligible voters turned out to vote on the day of elections. When the results were declared, these were accepted as fair even by the losers. The Indian experiment had proved the critics wrong. Observers outside India were equally impressed. India's general election of 1952 became a landmark in the history of democracy all over the world. It was no longer possible to argue that democratic elections could not be held in conditions of poverty or lack of education. It proved that democracy could be practiced anywhere in the country. The Indian National Congress was expected to win this election. The Congress Party, as it was popularly known, had inherited the legacy of the national movement. It was the only party then to have an organization spread all over the country. He led the Congress campaign and toured through the country. When the final results were declared, the extent of the victory of the Congress did surprise many. The party won 364 of the 489 seats in the first Lok Sabha and finished way ahead of any other challenger. The Communist Party of India, that came next in term of seat, won only 16 seats. The state elections were held with the Lok Sabha elections. It won a majority of seats in all the states except Travancore, Cochin, part of today's Kerala, Madras and Odisha. Finally, even in these states, the Congress formed the government. So, the party ruled all over the country at the national and the state level. As expected, Jawaharlal Nehru became the Prime Minister after the first general election. A look at the electoral map on the last page would give you a sense of the dominance of the Congress during the period 1952-1962. In the second and the third general election held in 1957 and 1962 respectively, the Congress maintained the same position in the Lok Sabha by winning 3/4 of the seats. None of the opposition parties could win even 1/10 of the number of seats won by the Congress. In the state assembly elections, the Congress did not get majority in few cases. The most significant of these cases was in Kerala in 1957 was a coalition led by the CPI formed the government. Apart from exceptions like this, the Congress controlled the national and all the state governments. The Congress won 3 out of every 4 seats, but it did not get even half of the votes. The Socialist Party, the second largest party in terms of votes secured more than 10% of the votes all over the country. But it could not even win 3% of the seat. The non-Congress votes were divided between different rival parties and candidates. So, the Congress was still way ahead of the opposition and managed to win full stop.